My name is Norman Murphy and I'm the Managing Director of Bluebird Care, and along with my wife Clare, who's here today, we run 3 Bluebird Care offices in central Hampshire, one in Alton and Alresford, Winchester, Eastleigh in Romsey, and Andover and Stockbridge. And we were delighted in February of this year, having been inspected by the CQC, to receive overall outstanding. We got outstanding in 3 of the Chloes out of 5 for caring, effective and well led. We're the first and only home care company in Hampshire to receive overall outstanding. And our mission is to shine a spotlight on all that is good in care. And we are absolutely delighted and thrilled to be on the BBC News following our achievement. There are many things that makes a service outstanding, and more often than not it's the little things and not the big things that make a difference. It's important if a provider wants to achieve outstanding, not only to look at perfect files, and not to look at a tick box exercise for CQC. It's the focus on the customer's experience, and everything we've done in our business, from the processes to the management and the leadership, is to ensure that that experience is second to none. People often say to me, Norm, how did you get overall outstanding? And there isn't a golden nugget, there isn't just one thing. It's a culture, it's an ethos, it's a vision, and every single member of our staff has bought into that. We have demonstrated all the way the journey that we've gone on to CQC. If you can't evidence it, it can't be counted. And CQC are looking for all the evidence you can give them to allow you to get overall outstanding. Our staff are our biggest asset. We invest heavily in staff retention, in their training, in their professional development, in their mentoring that we give them, in their pay and their benefits, to keep the team as tight as we possibly can. And that is costly, but it's a decision that as a business we have made. By doing and keeping the team tight, we are able to provide continuity and consistency to our customers, and which is what they want and what they need. So we can provide them with the same friendly face coming through that door every single time. But ultimately, they get to know and understand that customer so they can go the extra mile. Through the leadership of the company, with myself and Clare, our operations director, our registered managers, and our senior care staff, we manage the processes. We mentor and guide and manage the staff to excel and to flourish. We have a very detailed, enhanced career pathway for all our staff, which encourages them to look to promotion or enhanced knowledge to support their career aspirations. We listen to them, what they want to achieve out of a career in care. For example, if somebody has a specialist interest in skin care, we will send them on a tissue viability training course for them then to come back to the company and share that knowledge with all their colleagues in the care team. We instill a culture of professionalism throughout the company, and we encourage our staff to take ownership of their jobs, whilst also multi-skilling them across different roles, so we can ensure contingency of our service at all times, regardless of what happens. Our vision, which we articulate clearly to all our team at every stage throughout the year, to give them an understanding that they have a key role and they matter to the vision and the success of the company. If your managers just are engaged in that vision and it doesn't disseminate down through your company, it's not going to work. We have a particular challenge in care, as you all know, that your care staff are not under the same roof as you are. But I think because of that challenge, we found that is our USP, that we have developed a culture in the business that gets everybody engaged in a common goal. Just to quote the CQC from our report, the team are highly motivated and inspired to offer kind and compassionate care to people. However, our team also understand that we are only as good as our last care visit. Thank you.
Thank you, Norm. Can we pass on then to Debra?
Hello, my name's Debra Robey and I'm one of the managing directors at Crescent Homecare. The truth is, I would probably need a lifetime to scratch the surface of all the things that I would like to achieve in my role as being responsible for providing services in social care and health. let's just say it's work in progress. We, that is, my team and I, do not rate Crescent Homecare services as outstanding on a daily basis. That is just being complacent. We are constantly working to recognise and implement improvements to ensure positive outcomes for our service users. In our most recent inspection, we were rated as being outstanding in the leadership of Crescent Homecare services and in the category of caring. These are very, very important to us. We are a family-run business. My sister Geraldine and I have worked in the service for over 20 years. Yes, we both have suitable qualifications and experience to run the service, but most importantly, we have passion and drive to continually improve our services by providing quality outcomes for people using our services, with a strong focus on inclusion and fairness for all. We have a positive sense of direction and provide strong leadership. Yes, we have a sustained track record of delivering good performance, but we just can't rely on that. We have to manage improvement. When areas of improvement emerge, we aim to recognise and manage them well. We are committed to our ISO 9001 certified quality system that's internationally recognised, and we use this to strive and provide outstanding services. Quality services, as we all know, cannot be delivered without an outstanding team of care assistants who we invest in through training and positive support. We have a culture of lifelong learning and support for our care team and work in partnership with our chosen college to deliver learning. And because we're so proactive with the inclusion of all the staff, the college assessor bases herself at our offices several times in the month. They enjoy coming to our offices and working with the staff. All staff are supported in achieving diplomas in health and social care and building on that underpinning knowledge. We do have 3 qualified assessors within the company, but we don't use our own assessors. We use the outside assessors for transparency or an assessment of our care assistance practice. Our team of carers are regularly rewarded with thank you cards and compliments from service users, and we make sure that you're aware of how much their care, kindness and commitment is appreciated, not only by the service users but by Geraldine and I. Our carers go above and beyond what is expected of them in many different ways. This is reflected in the many compliments and recommendations that far outweigh any complaints. Our PA has completed her level 2 and 3 in social care and health and all mandatory training, so she can fully help and support service users on first contact. For example, you might get somebody with dementia that rings 10 times a day. She needs to recognise that. She needs to know they may need support and understanding and direct them for what is needed, that extra. So we start with our first contact being correct. An answer phone or an automated service is no good to our service users. I don't believe in it. The heart to care has to be there. We don't do anything special. We just believe in giving extra. They say the difference between ordinary and extraordinary is the little word extra. Give extra.
Thank you, Debra. Can you just remind me, Brad, you want to leave some time for questions at the end, but passing on to Dominique.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dominique Kent and I'm the Chief Operating Officer at the Good Care Group. I joined the Good Care Group on the back of a vision that had been written by my Chief Exec, and it was on, I still have the pack that she convinced me to join her against, and it was about providing services, care to people in their own homes through a living care model. So our core service is living care. And the thing that I joined was a set of core values, and those core values are about what we do every day, and it's critical to the service that we provide. It's how we bring them to life, it's how we live them, it's how we breathe them, and it's how our carers are recruited against them. And we don't hire anybody in our team if they don't show a set of values that are truly aligned to those. And I would say that you have to stay so true to that in a market whereby we are really struggling with workforce challenges. Our team is committed to delivering outstanding service, and always has been, and interestingly, always was before the outstanding rating ever became something to aspire to. We're truly focused on our workforce, and I think it's the focus our chief exec, myself, our leadership team, our care managers, our regional managers, our support staff, our on-call team give to ensuring those carers feel valued and looked after in everything they do every day. Care is really hard. It's the most undervalued profession out there, and we have a responsibility to change that. We truly believe at the Good Care Group that we have a responsibility in professionalising this market and making our carers feel like they're professionals in every single thing that they do. And we hire them in that context. We bring people together that have skills, experience and knowledge, whether that's professional or whether it's personal, and we value them for those skills, that skills and experience and knowledge they bring, and for the difference they bring to their culture, their creed, their colour, their background. We absolutely bring that together and ensure that we use that to enhance the service that we provide to the clients that we serve every single day. It's really, really important, and we nurture it. We have a culture of continuous improvement, and every single person that joins our team I challenge to tell me how we can do things better. We bring together our carers every other week for refresher training, because we have so many of them now, and our chief exec has a kind of Chatham House rules lunch with them. And we talk about what's great about being a part of this team, so we can celebrate success, but we also talk about what needs to be different to make us even better, what needs to make our model of employment better. Our carers and our care managers have share ownership in the Good Care Group, and they really care about the difference that that makes. The thing that Fiona does, and we all do as a leadership team, is create ownership at every single level. We enable people to make decisions, and when they get it wrong, we look at, okay, so what? So what have we learned from that? We don't beat them up for it, if you like. We're an accessible leadership team. My carers can email me and they will always get a response. They can call me and they will always get a response. And it is the little things that count. I call our carers. I can't do all of them anymore. We share it out every single Christmas day, because whilst I might be with my family with small children, I've got a care workforce out there delivering an outstanding service to my clients, and I think it's important they just hear those two words, thank you. And it is those small things. In summary, we're an open, honest, genuine, warm, knowledgeable, professional, energetic and responsive service, and that's the personality of our organisation.
Thank you. And finally, Clare.
I thought we were giving 2 minutes, is that so? I can keep it to 2 minutes. My name is Clare Jefferies, and I'm the owner of Homecare in Wimbledon. I've been with Homecare for 6 years now. I'm not from a care background. I don't have any corporate leadership skills. I came into care because of what I saw both my parents receive in terms of care. My father had motor neuron disease and my mother had breast cancer, both at the same time. They were terminally ill over 5 years, and I saw what poor care looked like. So I heard Andrea speak some time ago about the mum test, and I live by the mum and dad test in my office. I knew that I could be an outstanding company from the very, very start of my journey at Home Instead, because I've been a daughter and I have been on the receiving end of poor care. So when somebody rings my office and they say, I need help, I've been there. I understand what they're going through, and I know that I can make a difference to their lives. I've also been an employee of some really shocking companies. I've had some terrible bosses over the years, so enabling me to have a company where I can be the best boss that I possibly can was something I really, really wanted to achieve. And I know that being a good leader and being a good manager of a team of people, an expanding team of people, you know, they talk about in the shadow of the leader and all that sort of stuff. It's so important that I can be approachable and I can make their lives as enjoyable being a caregiver as possible. As Dominique said, it's a really difficult job to do, and I think a lot of focus is on how can we make a difference to the clients' lives. Actually, the caregivers that are out there delivering the care are as, if not more important than the clients that we're looking after. So that needs to be in the focus of everybody's mind. We don't call clients packages. It's a word that you hear all the time. They're not packages, they're people. They're people, and we think about all the people that are involved in that one individual's care. It's the mum test, but it's about looking at the daughter and the husband and the grandchildren and the next door neighbour and everybody that's involved. We do a lot of work out in the community. I had one lady who said to me when she came to an afternoon tea, it was the first time that she'd been out of her house in 13 months other than to go to a hospital appointment. So I said to her, Barbara, I will lay on an afternoon tea for you every month so that you've got something to look forward to in your diary. And those community activities have spread over the last 5 years, and now we've got a whole programme of something happening pretty much every week. That's what gave us our outstanding. It's looking at the individual and saying, how can we make a difference to you, and how can we make a difference to all the people that are involved in your care. We're there to make a difference to their lives, and I really think that knowing that I was outstanding before the CQC inspector walked through the door was because I wasn't looking for an outstanding. I knew I was there already, and to just get a certificate that says outstanding at the top of the page actually was just reconfirming how good I thought I was in the first place. And I don't mean to sound big-headed, but you know, if you strive to be something fantastic, you can be, and be recognised for it.
Thank you. Well, 5 inspiring introductions there. I have one question for the panel, and then I will take questions from the floor. One of the things that I have heard Andrea say in the past is that one of the indicators of outstanding is that you're never quite satisfied with how good you are. You're all working to get even better every day. Can I just ask for a kind of 1 or 2 word answer about what is it that each of you is now working on in terms of making sure that, okay, you're outstanding now, but you're going to be even more outstanding tomorrow? We'd like to have a go at that. And then I'll take questions from the floor.
Nothing different. We're just doing what we've always done, which is continuing. We've always been about how do we make ourselves better? How can we make our client experience more enhanced? How can we make sure our carers feel more valued? And that's cultural. It lives through your organisation. It's nothing specific, and it never will be.
One word that I write down against anything is communication, because it's about communicating at all levels. And if there's a problem, you put it right. But actually, you're talking to the people before the problem arises, so you actually understand that there is a potential problem that you need to put right in the first place. So against every single thing we do, it's about communicating.
Thank you. Any other responses?
Yes, we're busy with our service user surveys. They have a visit at least every 2 to 3 months. One of the new questions is, we have been rated outstanding. What is your opinion, and what other questions would you like us to ask when we visit you?
Thank you. And Norman?
Just to come back to something I talked about, and that culture and the ethos, I suppose the thing that we're continuing to strive and drive forward on is team building. There's often a big gap between the care team, the community, and the team at the office. So we looked at it in our company and with a view to retention, get off that sort of spinning wheel of recruitment. And everything we're focusing on is very much geared towards retention and team building and building that communication between the office and the care team and getting everybody understanding what the vision is.
And should I ask Andrea?
What am I doing to make CQC better? Absolutely. Well, we are working at the moment on reviewing our experience of the first 2 years of doing the inspection programme.
and we'll be consulting from December on a new assessment framework. So picking up on all of the issues that people have raised to strengthen and improve the key lines of inquiry and the characteristics of what good and outstanding looks like, so that it can be more aligned with the health service as well, so that point that we were making about integration earlier this morning, but also to build on many of the ideas that people either using services or providing services have raised. The one thing that I would say is that we are trying to make sure that that doesn't change kind of fantastically in terms of making it so different for the future, but it's about marginal improvements, which I think our colleagues here have demonstrated. It's not necessarily the big changes that are going to make the difference, it's incrementally making those smaller changes.
Thank you. Questions from the floor? Right, we have... Right, I'm going to take them in groups of 4. There's one in the middle there, one at the back. Can you keep your hand up until you've got a mic? One in the front here, and 2 more. So if you can, I'll take 4 as a start, and then I'll come back for the other 2. So starting at the back. Could you say who you are, please?
Good afternoon. Thank you to the panel. My name is Ken Caswell. I'm from Nurse Buddy Domiciliary Care Software. One of the biggest trends that I'm seeing at the moment is people are wanting to have more family communication, more transparency in their company. So I was just wondering, how does family feedback influence CQC ratings? Obviously, it's going to have feedback going towards the companies, but how can it integrate into the CQC as well?
Okay, thank you. There was a question in the second table back here.
Good afternoon. Reg Haynes, Total Community Care, local domiciliary care provider. Just picking up on several points really, but for the panel, whether following on from Colin's comments, that not to sell ourselves short. And I think it was great to hear that a lot of the outstanding was in fact down to the sort of soft skills, the value of our staff. But at the end of the day, that is linked into pay. And whether, as panel members, they've actually had to effectively walk away from potential contracts with local commissioners, be they health or social, just because they couldn't actually then pass on a reasonable pay needed to their staff.
Thank you. And just at the edge of the second table back there, please. And the other 2 I will come back to.
Christian from Seniors Helping Seniors. Question to the panel. Should CQC widen its scope of care regulations? In other words, should it regulate services like personal care or non-personal care?
Thank you. Okay, some questions about money, questions about soft skills, and a point about whether CQC, how CQC takes into account the views of service users and whether their remit should be extended. Could I ask Andrea, I think you're going to have another brief session at the end, so could you answer your questions then? And I'll just go to the panel who would like to come in on this. You don't all have to, but Dominique and Clare.
I'll come in on pay. The gentleman in the middle. When I first set up, I went to see my local authority, and I said, hi, got all excited about doing work with them. And they said to me, how much do you charge for half an hour? And I said, we don't do half an hour calls. And across the, I think, 45-minute conversation I had with them, she asked me 3 times, how much do you charge for a half an hour call? And in the early days, I was all quite geared up about, how could I work with these people? And at that time, I was quite strong, and I said, we don't do it, so I walked away. And I can honestly say now that the local authorities are ringing me after 6 years, and are saying, we'll pay your rates. We know you only do an hour. So we don't tender for local authority care, but I think because they're so stretched all over the place, they're now coming to us and saying, we'll pay your way. So it does pay to hold fire and let them come to you eventually.
I would absolutely underline that statement. You have to value the product that you provide. And that product for me is the person the carer that you've invested in, and you have to value that. So we have done exactly the same as Clare and operate a model of this is our price and it's a fair price for what we are delivering, the service that we provide, and that's it. And we've never entered into a contract where that's been compromised.
Okay, I'll take two more questions. I know the other two questions were focused on CQC, so Andrea will answer them shortly. Could you put your hands up again, the people who had them up before? So we've got one at the back there and one in the front here. And a second one in the middle at the back, yes.
It's Richard Walker from Homecare Group and CQC board member. It's a question about consistency. It's got two aspects. Not sure if you can hear me. There's two aspects.
We can now.
I'm not doing jokes. Richard Walker, Homecare Group and UKCA board member. My questions are around consistency in two aspects to that. First of all, how do you deliver consistency across a challenging environment and a dispersed workforce, and the consistency of inspection and approach to inspection? So those are my two bits. Thanks.
Thank you. Question at the front here.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations to the panel. Truly inspiring speeches there, so well done. Clearly, you know, it's your passion really which has got you your outstanding ratings. And I guess, you know, as leaders and owners of our business, you know, being passionate is something which often comes naturally to us. But when we're being inspected by the CQC, obviously we need that passion to shine through from all of the team and our registered managers. And Norman, you gave a great example of how you were doing that. So I'm really keen to hear from the rest of the panel, you know, how are you inspiring the rest of your team to really lead forward with that culture of outstanding?
Could you just tell us who you are, please?
Oh, sorry, Lucy Campbell, right at home.
Right, thank you. And there was one final question here in the middle table. That's fine. The mic's just coming to you.
Jill Forward, Head of Operations for In Touch Homecare. I've been part of many CQC inspections over the last 4 to 5 years. And we had an excellent one in my Midlands branch, and the recent inspection was very thorough. Great service, excellent feedback, and she had 2 recommendations. One to change the size of the box on a form, and the other was to separate safeguarding from regular complaints. But we still received good. And she said that there were demonstrations of outstanding features, but we would only get good because of the risk of the nature of our business and who we provided to. So if good's sort of good enough or not good enough, how do you strive to improve that when we're doing many service elements that the panel are as well?
Thank you. I'll reserve that one for Andrea and pick up the points about consistency and passion with the other panel members.
Yeah, we find delivering consistency through staff meetings, going out working with the staff on a regular basis. It's nothing to go out at 7:30, join up with the staff, go through the visits, keep it moving and handling certificates, show them how we want things to be consistent. In supervisions, we talk about consistency, the vision of the company, and that comes down through the team leaders and through all staff that which just talked about in meetings and on the job permanently. Consistency in the care plans are consistent, so they need to know how to read the care plans, they need to be up to date, and we need to mentor them in how to deliver that care plan in a consistent way. But the consistency comes from the top, from us working with the staff, talking about the things that the outstanding that we achieve into. But I don't think about it as outstanding. I just think about it as being delivering a good service. If you get outstanding on top of that, well, that's fine. But it's not outstanding that we talk about. It's delivering an excellent service that meets somebody's needs. But it does come from the top down over.
Thank you. Norman.
Consistency is so important. Myself and Clare have been doing Bluebird Care now for about 5 years, and we've learned some hard lessons along the way. I think one of the hardest lessons we've learned is being firm in our beliefs and ensuring that the staff come up to our level rather than us going down to their level. So our business, everybody has to do it the way we expect it to be done, and if you don't do it the way we expect it to be done, then we will have additional training for you, we will try to mentor you, we will support you in the community, do tasks, observations, get you involved in staff meetings, give you additional training in the particular area that you need, so that everybody in the business understands that that's the level that you have to be at. And if you can't reach that level, for whatever reason, then it might not be the right place for you. But for the staff that do reach that level and that consistency, they are staying with us. Our retention levels are very, very good because we set out exactly what we wanted to do each and every time, through the communication, which is very good between the office team, the community and the customers, through our training and through the processes that we have in place at every level of the business, and giving everybody in their own role responsibility for that particular process or that particular piece of communication. So it's about, for consistency, you have to be, as the owners of the business, consistent in your approach to the high standard that you want to have.
I think Claire's going to talk about passion.
Can I just add something to that? I think for me it's about why are you running a home care business? Are you running it because you want a business? Or are you running it because you want to make a difference to people's lives? As I said at the beginning, I knew nothing about business, so everything I've done over the last 6 years has come from the heart, and the business has run successfully and profitably as a result of the care that we've provided. So we don't compromise. You know, I'm prepared to turn away work if I know that it will stretch the capacity that we've got, if I know that we won't be able to have the continuity of staff. So it's about making sure that you're in it for the right reasons, I think. I can answer that CQC one as well while I'm here about
just very quickly.
When we had our inspection, the inspector said that there was such a gaping divide between good and outstanding, and she said that there needs to be a very good in the middle.
Thank you. Andrea, I think there are 3 questions for you about the user voice, about consistency, and about whether you should expand your remit. So can I leave the last few words to you, please?
Thank you very much, Bridget. And so just answering the questions as they came through, I think. In terms of the voice of people who are using services, their families and their carers, that is a very important part of the inspection methodology. We do ask for details of people who are using the service and the people that matter to them so that we can ask those questions, and we do send questionnaires out and follow that up. I have to say that it is much more difficult to get that in a home care setting than it is when we're visiting and inspecting residential services. So this is one of the areas that we're looking at and thinking, what can we do more on in the future in terms of really being able to access that. And one of the things that we're looking at is that very often it's going to be my colleagues who are doing inspections in other services, like in hospitals or in GP practices, who may come up against people who are supporting or living with people who are using home care services. And is there some way that we can get that informal feedback in a different way, in a more ongoing way, in terms of then being able to access other colleagues to give us that information in a better way, in a way that makes more sense to them than frankly answering a questionnaire that we're sending out. So it is something that we're looking at, and any bright ideas on the back of the envelope, I would love to have them. In terms of extending the scope of regulation, clearly that's not a decision for me, that is indeed a decision for government. And however, I do think that there are some gaps that we have at the moment, and there are some areas that we are concerned about in terms of people being in particularly vulnerable circumstances. But I think it goes back to my slide about what are the influences on quality. There are many influences on quality. The regulator is indeed one of them, but actually what's the Commissioner doing as well as the provider, as well as the focus on staff. So I think that we need a collective view about what the scope and extent of regulation in this sector should be, and I don't think it's for me to kind of say it's one way or another. I think that's a conversation for us all to be having. In terms of consistency of inspections, and to some extent I think the second the challenge that came in the second round of questions links to this. So we moved from a tick box compliance form of inspection and reporting on services by moving into the ratings, asking the 5 key questions and assessing whether services were good or outstanding, requires improvement or inadequate. And I think that what we have all got to accept is that it's much easier to be consistent with a tick box compliance regime than it is with a judgment regime, which is the one that we've got now. I think that there are some tremendous benefits of the change that we've made and the impact that we can have by looking for good and rating services as good and outstanding. So I think that we have to live with the fact that there's going to be some fuzziness around the edges, but the important thing is how do we manage the fuzziness around the edges to narrow the elements of inconsistency that there may be. And that's by having a clear framework with the key lines of inquiry and the characteristics. It's about training our inspectors and developing them. In fact, the kind of answer that Norm gave about how he's supporting his staff to ensure that they're doing the right job and they're able to do the right job in the right way is absolutely what we're doing with our inspectors as well. And it's about good training, good management, and ensuring that we're focusing on their capability, making sure that they're doing a good job. But it is also about our own internal quality assurance around the checking that we do in terms of the quality control before we're sending out reports, but also our quality assurance about reviewing what we've done and identifying areas of improvement, which sometimes will actually link back into support for individual inspectors. I can't answer the specific because I don't know what the specifics are, but what I would say is I think there is a gap between good and outstanding. It's a deliberate gap because there is a leap to be made, and I think that other regimes in the past have been denigrated by the fact that we say things are excellent or outstanding, whatever they may be, and then people come along and say, no, that's not actually how it feels. I do think, however, that those services that are good but have outstanding in one of the key questions, the language that I used earlier around good with outstanding features, is a language that I think that we should be adopting. I'm not going to get us to have more than 4 ratings. It's a kind of that's the broad decision across the whole of the sectors that we regulate. But I do think that we need to reflect on the fact that we do get a lot of outstandings in individual questions which don't get reflected in that top outstanding rating. But the very last thing that I wanted to say was just to pick up on the passion bit, because I think that what's been exemplified by the people who are sitting on this panel and sharing with you today their experiences, that is what comes out from an awful lot of services. Some services that we have rated as outstanding, some services that we have rated as good, and some that we've rated as good with outstanding features. People who are doing this because they're caring about the people who are using the service and they're doing it to make a difference for their lives will have that impact, will be able to recruit and retain good quality staff, and will, even if you're not there yet, will be able to aspire to delivering an outstanding service, and one day you will get that from the CQC as well. Thank you.